Symphonic Band. They will open their portion of the program with an arrangement of the Star Spangled Banner by composer Balamges. This arrangement was inspired by a performance at the 1991 NBA All-Star Game and was written and dedicated to the Ohio All-State Band in 2015. Please feel free to stand at the appropriate time. To conclude our evening, please welcome back to the stage Director of Bands, Mr. Jason Graham.
Thank you very much. Isn't that a great arrangement, the Star Spangled Banner? Yeah, it's just beautiful. You know I like it when I think in 6 years we've done it 3 times. So, great arrangement. And Brian Balamges is a wonderful composer for band music, and we played a lot of his stuff, and he was the director of the All-State Band in the premiere. So he wrote the piece, and then he directed the All-State Band of the piece that he wrote, so that's pretty cool. All right, moving along. Our next piece is called The Falls, and as I said during Concert 1's portion, like the Prairiescape piece that they played, it's all about imagery in depicting a waterfall-type landscape. Brass fanfares and sweeping woodwind lines depict the rushing water as it travels toward the open sea. And I think you'll hear that. It's very shimmery, very bright, and just has a lot of notes in it. It's a lot of fun. This is Rossano Galante's The Falls. to say where these falls are located, but towards the back end, it kind of sounds like it's out in the west, right? That whack of the cracks of the slapstick back there that Sam played. Yeah, hey Sam. Nicely done. Nice slapstick. Very tasteful. All right. I'd take a quick moment to call attention to the final pages of your program. Perhaps you had a chance to look at it before we started. On the final pages, it lists out the students who a few weeks ago participated in the OBA Solo Ensemble contest. You can see a listing of which events were awarded a superior rating, and it's an outstanding accomplishment to have so many students, go to the contest, and of the events we sent, 42 of them were Class A events and received a superior rating. And that is outstanding. So can we hear it for the students? That day is so important, and from the very first year that I taught, solo ensemble was something that we had to do it. It was the only way to really get better. And I told the story to the students every single year. When I got to Newton, the band was struggling to get ones at district contests in Class C. Fast forward 5 years later, getting people to go to solo ensemble, straight ones in Class A at state contests. That's the power that solo ensemble has in private lessons and private teachers. So we're so thankful for the students who have worked hard to put that effort in. We have a nationally recognized band program here in Grove City, and we're afforded opportunities. You may have heard that we're traveling out west next year to the Grand Canyon, and the Arizona and the Fiesta Bowl. Those opportunities wouldn't exist if we didn't have an outstanding program that was full of students who were passionate and cared and put in the effort to be good at the instrument, because it takes that commitment. It does. And solo ensemble is one of the greatest ways to advance in that area. Our next piece takes us to the movies, and if you know me, you know I'm a lover of John Williams. I grew up watching, and my parents are down here and they can attest to this, I would watch Back to the Future on cassette tape, and it was recorded off of when it was aired on TV, because we didn't own it. So I'd watch it on the cassette tape, finish it, rewind it, watch it again, immediately. I did that many times as a young child. And mostly I realize now it's because I love the music. Now that's Alan Silvestri, different composer. But Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all the stuff that John Williams really was kind of a musical inspiration to me as a young child. And so I love his music, and his music's timeless. Long after all of us are gone, his music will still be around and people will know it. And that's powerful. So I love to play his music where and when we can. He writes for orchestras primarily, of course, and if you've been around the last few years, we played Raiders of the Lost Ark, and of course we did the E.T. with the movie a couple years ago. That all comes from the same series of music called the Hal Leonard Professional Concert Band. And when they say professional, they mean it. It is note-for-note transcriptions of what they did in Hollywood or what the LA or the London Symphony may have played. It's the same notes, just transcribed for band instruments. So they get rid of the strings and they rework it so that the band can play it, but it's otherwise exactly the same. So if you were hired to be in a professional orchestra to play his music, you'd sit down and you'd see Ray's theme for the new Star Wars, and here we go, we're going to record this for the movie. And I love to challenge the students with that music, and it's not watered down in one way at all. It's exactly as it was done in the movie for the track. So this is from that series, and this is Ray's theme from The Force Awakens. before we get to our final piece of the evening, as always, is very proud of the band, the accomplishments they've done this year, starting out with the marching season and the wonderful time that we had there, and the capstone performances at state and the VOA. Very blessed to work with the assistant directors here. It's a team effort, could not be done alone. Would you please help me thank Walt Riesenberg and Hannah Lobster for being wonderful colleagues and great educators. I would also like to thank our middle school band directors. We are a team, the 5 of us, Jackie McCammon and Jonathan Raymer. Would you please thank our middle school directors for all their work that they do as well. And as always, we're blessed to have a school district which is so supportive of music and the arts. Please help me thank our superintendent, Dr. Bill Wise, and our principal, Brian O'Shea, and all of the Southwestern Schools administration for their continued support of music and music education. Listed in the back of your program, you also saw some honor ensembles, people that are in some things outside of here. And I wanted to make mention of 2 students in particular who you saw at the top of the program. They auditioned last year in May, and the auditions due in May, and they were both selected to be in this year's All-State Band, which in the grand scheme of music education, All-State Band is the highest achievement you can get to as a high school student. There's nothing bigger than that. And we had 2 students make that ensemble this year, and they did an absolutely outstanding job performing with them, and I would like to recognize them. If they could please stand and be honored at this time. Raul de Mesa on euphonium and Sabrina Lilico on flute. We hear it from our All-State students. Parents, if you would like for your child, or you're interested in the opportunity with your child to try out for the All-State Band, I cannot encourage it enough. There's a wonderful experience. The auditions, as I said, are due in May. It's a taped audition, and I told all the students right after Soul Ensemble, this is the time to start the process. When you audition for All-State, you have to send in a recording of you playing either a Class A or a Class B solo that you would have possibly taken to Solo Ensemble. So the students that already went to Solo Ensemble and did a Class A or B solo, they've got more than half the work done. Record it now while it's still fresh, save that recording, and then in about a month from now, OMA will release 2 other pieces that they have to learn. They're etudes, they're short, 32 measures or so, and then they work those up, record those, and we send it in at the end of May. It's a wonderful experience. Please talk to your kids about it, especially if your child's taking private lessons and is more advanced. That's the opportunity that they should go for. We'd love to see continued participation, and All-State Band is going to be held in Columbus next year because this convention is held in Columbus. So it makes it even easier for you parents to come see it because it's right in our backyard. All right. Again, thank you for coming to our winter concert tonight. Look forward to seeing you at our next performance at Likely Tays Valley on likely March 14th. Our final piece tonight is Occident et Orient. It means West and East. Written by a primarily orchestral composer, Camille Saint-Saëns, this was his first piece that he ever wrote for band. He actually wrote it for the band, and it's subtitled A Grand March. So you think march, okay, like John Philip Sousa march? Not at all. Very different. This is much a character piece, and we'll start off in the West, and it sounds kind of Western. When I say West, I mean the Americas, Europe, that kind of music. Then it travels to the East, and it's going to have more of that Eastern sound to it. Gongs, pentatonic harmonies, more open sounds. Then it comes out of the East, and it's a very long trek back to the West. And what the composer is doing is he's taking all the themes and ideas that he's presented, and he starts layering them on top of each other, almost like an opera. If you've ever seen an opera when like 10 people are singing all at once, that's happening for a moment, and then it all comes to this big, glorious finish back in the West. So please enjoy our final tune of the night, Saint-Saëns' Occident et Orient.